Good morning and welcome back. So we're going to cover the command. So if you have a drawing that you've done, either you've done it by hand or you find the silhouette of an object that you would want to make in Rhino on the internet. Either way, this is going to be the procedure to use what's referred to as a background bitmap. So I've already got a window opened up. It's in small with millimeters. And I'm just going to go over to View, Background Bitmap, and the command is called Place. You can't do anything else because everything else is grayed out. So you have to do Place. So you're going to look for where you place it. I usually put my drawings on the desktop. So now it says, what's your first corner? So it's going to take one corner of the object. And let's go ahead and place it in this corner right about there. And if you notice, I went about 40 millimeters away from the x-axis. I'm going to go about 40 millimeters on the other side as well. If you have a design that has any symmetry in it, then that's helpful because then you can use that x-axis as your symmetry line when you do a mirror command. All right, so now, it's kind of tough to see it from here. So I'm going to double click on top and enlarge that. Now, I'm going to select over to the red lines right here. Default is black lines. So honestly, you would not be able to see the black lines with this black background. So that's why I use red. And going to go to curve. You're going to use a heavy use of line, single line, and arc, start, end, point. So let's go ahead and use start, end, and point. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click to the top of there, click to there, and I'm just kind of following the outline of the object right there. So now go to curve, line, single line. As soon as I see end, remember you're going to select end as one of your command features. Select end. As soon as you see that cursor come up with term end, you know you're okay right there. All right, so I've got that portion done. So I'm going to go ahead and join that right now. Select that and select that. So now that's one object. All right, so let's go down over here. I want to cover a couple of things down over here. Start endpoint. So the hardest thing to do is kind of figuring out where to put your start point, which I usually put at a corner, and then the end point. You want to visualize this curve and try to figure out what is just about the halfway point where the curve is at its maximum, and then there you go. So I think that's just about it. But this curve is a little bit of a weird curve. It doesn't really conform really nicely to the curve. Yeah, let's see like that. That's not a great curve. So you've got a couple of options here. One is, if you select on that, hold the shift button down, select this control point and this control point, and then you could kind of drag this to kind of lengthen out that curve and just bring it down just a little bit. All right, so hit it again. Now let's just try to adjust the middle of it right there. Okay, so it's a little bit better. So there's a little bit more fiddling around I can do with this. So let's go ahead and add another arc and do the back half of the boat. Start endpoint. Select here. Remember, as soon as you see that cursor, that text box there, next to the cursor say end, click, and then you can select your curve. All right, so you're going to want to do that to go all the way around any object you have. All right, so what I've already done is, I've already done this all the way out. And let me go back to Background Bitmap. Okay, so here we go. So I did all the lines all the way around, did a lot of hunting and searching to find where lines did not overlap properly or did not connect or did overlap. All right, so You don't want the lines to overlap. You don't want there to be a gap in the lines. You also don't want the lines laying on top of one another. That's also kind of an overlap. So now that I've got that all drawn, I'm going to go to View, Background Bitmap, and I'm going to use the command Hide so that I don't see the lines. All right, so all the lines are joined. All the lines are joined. So now I can go, let me go over to the 4-panel viewpoint so you can see this happen better. There we go. Solid, extrude planar curve, straight. Select the outside line and the inside line. Hit enter when I'm done. Oop, there's one spot that didn't get fixed. So I'll show you what happens when that happens. It only extruded the area that actually worked. Right? So let us edit, undo, and there's one of two spots that could possibly be. And I suspect, oh, there you go. Now this is what I mean. You really have to zoom in sometimes to see this. So to zoom in that tight and then follow the entire curve will take some time, right? You won't actually realize how long the piece is until you do it this way. So this little area right here caused my problems. So I've got a couple ways I can resolve this. One is I could grab this, I could grab that button and just pull it back to that button, but that changes the shape of the curve, right? So let's undo that. The cleaner way to do this would be to go to Edit, Trim, select that as my cutting surface, hit enter when I'm done, and then select this little patch right here that extends over. Hit enter when I'm done. All right. So now, go to Solid, Extrude Planar Curve Straight, select this and this, hit enter. I didn't get the error message. Type in the number 2 and extrude it onto both sides, the same. Now, obviously, it looks just like a whole bunch of lines. So remember, in perspective, go to View and go to Shaded. And now you can see it. So the reason why it looks red is because we drew this with red lines, it looks like a red object. All right. So if you want to play around with different colors, you can. Like I said, when I'm drawing with Background Bitmap, I find red is the biggest contrast. Purple will work for some people, and green works for some people. So that would be my recommendation. All right. So I hope you enjoy this. If you have a design that needs or has a more organic element, then this is the way you're going to do it. Make sure that you save the file as a JPEG or you convert it to a JPEG once it's on your laptop. Rhino does not accept the native format used by the iPhone, which is like HCEP or something like that. Okay? Well, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.